takes off with Vic and his wife Melinda, happily married with a daughter named Trixie. Melinda is getting ready to attend a party at her friend's house, and they've hired a babysitter to look after Trixie. At the party, Melinda hugs a friend named Joel, making Vic uncomfortable. Despite his unease, Vic keeps quiet to maintain his relationship. Things get more complicated when Vic reveals to Joel that he had previously killed a guy named Martin, who was Melinda's ex-boyfriend. Joel gets scared and leaves the party. Melinda blames Vic for Joel's departure, but Vic denies any involvement. Vic, generally a quiet person, loves his wife. Back at home, Vic gives money to the babysitter and notices Melinda making coffee inappropriately dressed. This leads to an argument, with Vic asking her not to behave that way in front of the babysitter. Melinda gets angry, and they argue about her relationship with Joel. Vic, who cares for snails, heads to the basement after the argument. He's responsible at home, taking care of breakfast and driving Trixie to school. Vic's friend asks about the murder, revealing that Joel spread rumors about Vic being the killer. Melinda invites Joel to dinner, where he talks about his new job in Mexico and his plan to leave the next morning. Melinda expresses her desire to visit Mexico, and Vic insists on reserving a hotel room for her. During dinner, Melinda complains about Vic's dullness, saying she wishes he were more normal. Joel disagrees, stating that if Vic were normal, they wouldn't be sitting together. Later, Melinda asks Vic to read a story to Trixie. While he takes Trixie to her room, Melinda dances and spends time with Joel. She then urges Vic to talk to Joel, who asks for an apology for the party incident, but Vic refuses, and urged him to leave the house due to the late hour, warning that something dangerous might happen if he stayed. Joel, feeling scared, left. The next day, they attended a party where Melinda saw Vic dancing with another girl, making her jealous and annoyed. Despite her anger, Vic remained silent. Shortly after, Vic received a phone call informing him that his wife was sending money for piano lessons. Determined to find out more, he traced the recipient, Charles, and attended one of his shows. To his surprise, Melinda was also present, but Vic left without revealing himself. Later, he learned about the discovery of Martin's body, Melinda's friend, and shared the news with her, leading to her surprise and tears. Vic's suspicion grew when he found roses at home, similar to the ones Charles had. Angered, he threw the roses away and retreated to care for his snails. She was out whole night with Charles. On another day, he confronted Melinda about her late return and spending habits, but she remained silent. They hosted a party where Charles attended, causing Vic's anger to rise. He witnessed Melinda hugging Charles, prompting him to leave the party. Later, he observed Melinda and Charles in a closed room and by the swimming pool. Angry and frustrated, he watched as the rain forced everyone inside, leaving Melinda and Charles alone. Moments later, he found Charles's lifeless body in the pool.
Please do something!
When the police arrived, Melinda accused Vic of the murder, but he remained calm and was eventually acquitted due to lack of evidence. Following the incident, Vic questioned Melinda about divorce, receiving no clear answer. As he pondered the crime on his bicycle, he noticed a car surveilling him. Days later, he encountered his wife with a man claiming to be a psychiatrist. Vic, suspicious, asked for verification but received none. Investigating further, he discovered Melinda's collaboration with a man named Don, who spread rumors about him. Confronting Don, Vic urged him and Melinda to stop their actions. Observing his wife on the phone with a new boyfriend planning a trip to Brazil, Vic became enraged. The next day, Melinda's friend visited for dinner, and though angered, Vic tried to control his temper. As Melinda went out with her boyfriend, Vic stayed home, washing the dishes in silence, contemplating the escalating tensions in his life. Vic encountered his wife's friend, Tony, and offered him a ride. Tony agreed, but once they reached a forest, Vic turned violent. He attacked Tony with stones, ultimately killing him. Vic then tied Tony's body to stones and threw it into a river. She started cooking for him. In the days following Tony's disappearance, Vic and his wife's relationship surprisingly improved. They even went on a trip to the same forest where Tony's body was dumped. Vic, however, noticed the body in the river and hurriedly insisted they return home before his wife found out. Upon returning home, Melinda mentioned she had forgotten her clothes in the forest. Vic, wanting to keep the gruesome secret, decided to go alone to retrieve them. Meanwhile, Melinda went into the basement and discovered Tony's wallet, leading her to break down in tears upon realizing her husband had killed her friend. In the forest, Vic attempted to hide Tony's body by pushing it into the river. Unexpectedly, a suspicious observer, Don, appeared and threatened to inform the police. Vic tried to follow Don, but he got into a car accident, resulting in his death. Returning home, Vic faced his wife, who admitted she knew about his actions. Surprisingly, she chose to forgive the past and continue living with him, acknowledging her own mistakes and realizing that Vic didn't abandon her despite everything.